The head ram, as it were, referenced as, I mean, it's just not working out for them.
Or maybe they just draft full head ram mode. Something like that. Find a team comp that can really facilitate. Because one thing that they were doing was making Tainted Minds play their game.
Yeah, I mean, something they could look towards. Unfortunately, it has been banned away in the first game, was the Shen Olaf type of combo.
Yeah.
Where you get impaired on a Hecarim or an Olaf, something that can get in the back line and take them out. Put the Shen with it, and you have Ryu ult him and get back there. If Bomb plays the Rise again, oh, absolutely. I feel like that would work out for them. It is kind of like the Wombo. Honestly, like, it's just a modern Wombo.
Go back to the old Sin style. Something like that. But they're not going to be playing the Rise this time around, as Tainted Minds have banned it and the Vladimir already. Jhin and Azir once again taken away here by Hellions, who do have a few more targeting options if they want to take things away. And a Bard would make a lot of sense here for the third ban from the Hellions. We'll see what exactly they want to do, as Karma still exists, of course.
Yeah. Rosie, of course, a better Bard than Karma. He knows that he's a Bard main. Everyone knows that he's a Bard main. And yet we continue to see him on that. The Trundle may be even a bigger deal, but they do decide to remove it from the board.
Yeah, well, things like the Aurelia, the Shen, still available here, as Tainted Minds did have to go to those targeted pickoffs. Oh, sorry, the more broad pickoffs of the Rise and the Vladimir. We'll see whether they get rid of the Shen, get rid of the Aurelia, have the answer for the Aurelia pickup that Ryu did favor in the last series that we saw him in.
Yeah, I don't think they need to ban away the Aurelia. Like, sure, Ryu has shown he's competent on the champion, but it doesn't stand out to me as tactically in team play as the rest of them is. Apparently, that's just...
Yep, the Hecarim. That's what they want to get rid of. So looking for maybe a Rek'Sai and something else pick away here if Hellions do decide to prioritize some sort of top lane champion. I don't know, Rusty.
I feel like they were just listening to me. Theory crafting for the Hellions.
I had to wait for the stream delay.
Yes, there was no other reason for... No, the Hecarim Impaired does play it. Can't speak for Ryu, but I know that Impaired does play a good Hecarim. So taking it off whilst they're now on the red side for the first time in this series, Tainted Minds must have some kind of strategy in the back of their mind, knowing that perhaps the Hellions prioritize one champion that isn't Rek'Sai above all else.
It's definitely not by the looks of the first hover. And just a reminder, guys, the players have already done champ select. There's no way that they could be doing any sort of cheating off anything that Rusty's saying, even if it is incredibly good information. It's just impossible. So don't worry about that. That Hecarim came out of the Tainted Minds' own minds, be them tainted or not, as Rek'Sai. A couple of seconds to go, and we'll be locked in here by Ryu.
Yeah, so the Rek'Sai, of course, were questioned if it was something they wanted as a first pick priority. I feel like it was forced upon them anyway now.
Yeah.
Zahi has shown his liking towards the Elise anyway. I think he may just go back to that. It's something that is working for him. And if it's working, you wouldn't change it. Tainted Minds in terms of a team composition lacking the Bard this time, though. The question is, how do they compensate with Engage?
And with that top lane so incredibly wide open, do they now not look at a top lane pick and possibly try and counter-pick for Praedyth here?
Yeah, red side Praedyth. I think they should do that. Omni doesn't exactly have the biggest
pick and Victor.
necessity, to counter-pick. With Azir gone, Victor makes the most sense anyway. And even as a first rotation, I wouldn't be surprised to see like a Karma and a Victor, or the Elise perhaps.
Yeah, or even a Karma Ezreal or something like that. Take away the bottom lane if they want to. Tainted Minds looking at the Karma already. 5 seconds to go, and Zahi is just going to lock away the Elise. So exactly like what you said, Rusty. Making sure that they have that movement speed, have that pick-off potential, and Tainted Minds looking to do a similar thing to last game.
Yeah, of course. The one big major lacking point, as already pointed out, was the Bard Engage. Sorely missing. And so to compensate, Omni, if he continues to play Victor, won't be able to do the same thing. Praedyth, if he plays carries, won't even have the same thing himself. Aurelia or Jax, they have a stun, but it's usually follow-up. Lost would have to play something like the Jhin, which is banned, or the Sivir or Ashe himself to actually make up for it.
Well, Bomb thinking of picking away the Victor here as Aurelia for Ryu. Has been favoring the champion, was banned last game, played it in the 2 before that. Despite the lack of success against Avant, he was up against Paradise, who is a ridiculous player. If you guys are watching, man has some mechanics on the ribbon.
Paradise is a very good top laner. Ryu, not to say that he's a slash by any means on the Aurelia. In fact, it was expected that he would go towards this bomb. Less of a denial, more of a he can play it himself type of champion with the Rise gone. Makes sense you go back towards that. I personally would like to see Bomb back on Anivia, but that is a little too personal, I suppose. I just think Anivia's good. The Victor, denied from Omni, who was 1-5 on the champion last game. So really, I would be shocked to see him not go for something like the LeBlanc with the Azir already gone.
Yeah, I'd like to see it. Of course, Bomb probably feeling like he needs to pick more of a safe mid laner here as well, with the fact that he doesn't have the counter pick potential, is lost. Oh my goodness, having flashbacks to the Tainted Minds victory over Abyss in game number 2, where he went completely ballistic on the Lucian, and Trundle once again going to be locked away here. Praetor saying, yep, just give it to me.
And so the engage just generally lacking from Tainted Minds, but the damage is very much evident. The Lucian Karma combo is the same thing as the Jhin, where you just empower that Lucian to win lane by himself, essentially. Where Janna lacks, Karma does make up for, however, in your ability to trade. And so as a 2v2, they are pretty insane. We've got the Praetor Trundle that he had success on. We're going to be seeing that one all over again. And now the question does remain, where are you going with that Omni?
LeBlanc. Come on, man, just do it.
Or is he the Karma?
Hey, that's a good point. Then they could put the Trundle in the bottom lane and counterpick the Aurelia somehow with a Shen or something and have no damage.
Yeah,
LeBlanc feels like a better idea.
Should just be LeBlanc.
Well, they are going to lock it in. So Tainted Mind saying, no, we want none of this funny business. We are putting Trundle in the top lane, and Omni is going to be back on a very comfortable champion here for the man.
It was at this moment I was thankful they can't hear us. No suggestions. Yeah, we are seeing Omni on one of his better champions. Carbon set on the desk. He's fantastic on it. We got Zahi on the Elise that he has a track record now playing near exclusively. Of course, the Rek'Sai taken from him. Makes sense he'd go towards that. Praetor has seen a great deal of success on the Trundle, and that is a dangerous Tainted Minds bottom lane if ever I have seen it.
Yeah.
But they are up against a stock standard meta team composition from the Hellions. They've got the kill threat from the top laner, the team fighting capability from them as a 5-man unit, or the 4-1 strategy is always there.
Yeah, and they've also got the triple global with the Rek'Sai, the Aurelia with teleport, and teleport on Bomb's Victor here at the same time. Omni trying to make up for it with the fact that he has taken the teleport himself on this LeBlanc as the timer does tick down. So Tainted Minds with some answers for this very maneuverable composition out of Hellions, but once again, it looks like they have just picked pretty comfortable comp. Yeah. We'll see whether they're just going to try and ram it.
Yeah,
get things done.
I think Tainted Minds actually have to run them around the map, most importantly, with their comp.
Well, we'll see whether they can do that. And ladies and gentlemen, we want to hear from you. If you think Hellions can push us to a game number 3, try and find themselves a victory here in the OPL. Use that hashtag HLN win. They need it now more desperately than ever. Or if you think that Tainted Minds can close this one out 2-0, bounce back from that Abyss loss that they suffered in day 1 of Super Week, use that hashtag TM win and let your fandom be known, because this team also needs your support. They're not exactly doing fantastically well sitting towards the bottom of those tables and really want to try and threaten for that playoff spot.
Time and again, for what it's worth, Tainted Minds have still been able to pick up maps, and we have seen their way to win in League of Legends. They've made it evident that their bottom lane is a big carry threat. Praetor has started to work towards that bottom lane as well. They're putting a lot more emphasis on the duo, whereas the Hellions finding their identity, the ever-present search that goes on with this team.
And we are looking at Zahi a little bit more this game to head towards that mid lane, try and facilitate Omni getting ahead.
It's going to be super valuable that Omni gets fed, in any capacity, even if he's even. It'll be handy for them. Omni can't fall behind. That's the big problem. So I think Zahi go there if it's required.
Yep.
Ultimately, we know where he's going to look, whether he wants to or whether the Tainted Minds team want him to. Probably the Lucian lane.
Well, we'll see whether they're going to head down there.
It's funny, because they were trying to kick that habit.
Yeah.
They've come back into this meta where the bottom lane's meant to facilitate the play. And so they want Lost and Rosie to be on their own island, as it were, for top laners prior. But Zahi still goes back down there constantly.
Well, of course, was spreading the love in the last game. Zahi sort of omnipresent around the map. Got himself caught out a couple of times, but did still manage to get leads in a lot of these lanes as Hellions starting on this Krug camp. It's the same thing on the Gronk for the bottom lane for Tainted Minds, and once again we are going to have well and truly standard lanes. First Dragon going to be a mountain this time, so probably the second most important by thinking about what these teams like to prioritize, and we'll see whether Tainted Minds get down there early again, whether this time Hellions are going to be able to find their way through, because no more magical journeys are going to be able to get them out of this Dragon Pit this time.
I'd like to think that the Mountain Drake for early game is actually the third most important out of 4.
You reckon?
Yeah, just because the Ocean Drake's so important early game. The sustain that it gives supports and junglers. Fire, of course, is just important to have because it will always scale.
Yep.
But it's a similar concept with the Mountain anyway, because you want to hit those structures. But yeah, it's always worth looking at for a fight. My biggest problem with the Mountain Drake in terms of like its importance in a tier list is how sturdy it is as a jungle option.
Yeah, that's
to
a good
take
point.
it is like a really long time sink.
You can see Ryu getting a nice equilibrium strike down, looking to chomp him, is Praetus, but doesn't manage to. He's just surging all over this creep wave.
He's still working around his grasp of the Undying procs quite well here, and Zahi, another early gank towards Ryu.
See whether he can get that flash this time around. Another equilibrium strike comes in as now Zahi just looking to try and kill him. Praetus here, nice repel, but First Blood chomps down from the troll and Praetus picks it up.
Yeah, that's really important actually, that Praetus was the recipient of that kill. Not only is the farm even, but he is now leaps and bounds ahead of that Aurelia just from control on this map. Will force a teleport, will then be responded with a teleport of his own, but actually just more items in the back pocket. And Zahi, for the first time, doesn't just force a summon a spell, gets the kill with it. And as such, doesn't have to go back top.
Yeah, so Ryu looking to try and stop some backs here out of Praetus, but he's going to have a big shop here with that First Blood gold. Ryu does at least have a big wave, which is not quite going to crash to this code.
Yeah, he won't be able to freeze this for too long, though. If he does try, he'll have to trim the wave down, and there you go, completely denied. Praetus with an aggressive first buy, though.
Yeah, that is a Vamp Scepter already built up.
I quite like it.
Lots of sustain.
Yeah.
And I actually really like the aggressive shoving here as well from Praetus. Knows that Ryu can't tank the wave or anything like that to try and make himself some kind of freeze.
Yeah, well, he can't tank the wave with Praetus hitting him as well. There's a W Max Aurelia usually has a fair chunk of sustain, but it's not even comparable to that of the Trundle's Vamp Scepter first buy with a single dagger that gives a bit of attack speed. Doesn't add up. Zahi with a second attempt now working his way mid lane.
Yeah, looking for the chain here from Omni. There's the flash cocoon out of Zahi here as well. Gets a lot of damage down. Nice gravity field from Bomb. Stuns up the Elise. Will make his way out, but flash is burnt from the mid laner. More importantly from him than it is from Zahi to try and get it.
Yeah, burns the summoner spell, the flash to get out safely, but the chains missed from Omni on his LeBlanc, and that could have been the difference as the cocoon connected. If Omni played patient, or if the communication from Tainted Minds during that gank was actually better, they would have found themselves that kill, you would have to imagine. But only one of the crowd control spells connect, the second doesn't. Bomb gets out.
Bomb actually with an aggressive buy here as well. Has gone for the double Doran's Ring, wants to make sure he's as healthy as possible, doesn't get bursted out by the LeBlanc, and an Amp Tome. So putting behind his Hex score upgrade just a little bit, didn't have that 1,000 gold. But putting it behind even further with these sort of early game focus purchases.
Yeah, it means he has to do well now. And so he has no summoner spells. By going for the aggressive build that he has, it's to keep him in the lane. Once LeBlanc ticks 6, he doesn't have any magic resistance and could get pushed out. And if he does, that 1,000 gold's harder to find. And Zahi and Praetus at it again.
Looking for more. Cocoon, of course, thrown out a little bit reluctantly there by Zahi. Is impaired. It's going to make his way up as well. Rosie in trouble. Is
What? He's dead.
Flashing? What the heck just happened? Okay, Lost had just gone back to base.
Yeah.
Spray's in trouble. But Rosie baiting out some summoner spells. And I had no idea what was going on there. That was terrifying.
My assumption is they caught Rosie backing with Lost. Lost, of course, gets back to base. Rosie does not. But that was so aggressive from the Hellions that they end up losing more summoner spells than Rosie uses himself. And the end result is that Tainted Minds win from it.
Whoa, Ryu with a massive burst of damage after that ultimate comes out. Man, if that first back had been a Sheen, that is a dead troll.
So he could still kill Praetus here. He can't actually play this well. Ryu has flash, which means it's possible.
Yeah, and impaired here as well. Fantastic pillar from Praetus. Stops the gank attempt.
That's a lot of minions actually going missing, though. Praetus plays that poorly. He has sustain, but he doesn't have the damage. Frey, speaking of damage.
Yeah, back's going to be stopped here as well. So
could mean Drake.
We'll see whether Zahi is going to be able to get over there.
He's actually looking to push instead.
You are so right about Predath being in trouble here as well. That's a stinger picked up, as well as that Ruby Crystal from Ryu. 49 to 37 in a lane that he has no right to be this far ahead in.
Now with an early death, Ryu actually bounces back pretty hard. And I said the Predath played it poorly because the minions crashing on the turret would have been an equalizing wave anyway. He was at a 6 to 5 in terms of level disadvantage and got bursted out to the point where he couldn't keep himself in it. One thing that Trundle usually excels at is losing a trade but pressing his ultimate to make it back to even. Like if he was 6, if the minions had crashed already, he could have pressed his R key. There was no dive from Ryu. Because he was zoned away, he had to play more cautiously. He will still be fine in this lane, but that was just a big mistake.
Nice equilibrium strike timing there from Ryu just to make sure he gets chomped, then gets the stun. Predath still with a lot of sustain. Grasp of the Undying, King's Tribute, Vamp Scepter, Corrupting Potion, Subjugate. That's a lot of different things to keep you healthy, not to mention they all get buffed by his W. So there's the culling on the bottom side of the map. Luna taking a fair bit of damage there. Lost is going super aggressive, gets exhausted, throws out the heal at the same time as Luna might be in trouble. Nice shield from Rosie.
Frey's winning this though.
One. Yeah, he is, and lands a nice Mystic shot towards the end.
Impaired's even hanging out in the wings. Tainted Minds are showing a lot of signs of weakness. That was a hard push in terms of pressure that they placed down. Lost is within killing range of the Ezreal ultimate.
There's the flash knockup that comes in. Lost does use the flash, gets out of the way of the True Shot barrage as well as Impaired's in trouble. Oh my god, the ignite! Oh, wasn't there from Rosie, of course. He's got exhaust. Just looked a little bit like the particle.
Playing with fire, both of these teams at the moment.
Well, if he was, he'd be dead.
Through laning phase. Yes, thank you, Atlas. He was not ignited. They kept him alive. And they're still hitting each other quite heavily. No major outcomes, funnily enough, from this because everyone's still equal. Still a big advantage, actually, being forged by top lane. I have watched Predath miss so many minions last hit.
Yeah, 50 to 72 now as well. Zahi is going to take down this Grump. Ryu checking up on him, just uses him as a way out as Equilibrium strikes here. Zahi, of course, not tanky at all. Bomb's making his way up. There is a flash out of the Elise. Movement speed's going to come in. Nice pillar once again from Predath. Like we're talking about, is very far behind.
He should probably change form from Spider, so he doesn't have Spiderlings chasing him with no health.
Oh, there's the flash. Ryu got the reset, but it's a bait out of Zahi. Ryu's going to get chomped. If that was intentional, my god, that was smart. Impaired now tries to shove this wave out, but Predath's just going to be able to hold on to it.
It's just kind of amusing that I suggested he changes form so there's no Spiderlings.
Yeah.
And then Ryu actually gets baited by them and hit by a cocoon to keep him healthy. Mistake from Zahi, firstly, but picked up on by him well, and reactive play from Tainted Minds on an aggressive move. Counteracted.
There's the chain as Lost. Easily able to pick up the kill. The Chaos Storm just burst in by Tainted Minds. As Omni's helped out, and of course, the win condition in the bottom lane also.
Yeah, aggressive movement from the bottom lane of Tainted Minds, actually mostly Lost. And Omni works around it. LeBlanc now has that ball rolling. Picking up on Bomb's weaknesses in that he has consistently wanted to stay in lane. Doesn't like to get pushed out.
And just tried to get that death ray in there just to clear out the minion wave. Of course, now has that upgrade on the Hex Core. But you're right. Maybe some of his tendencies now being considered as Ryu has the hit and start, will wear off as he gets the slow with the Equilibrium Strike. The flash is there from Predath, but doesn't use it. Knows that Ryu doesn't have his. He's going to survive for the moment. Teleport is available for the Trundle.
And he's brought back the laning phase for what it's worth. 2-0 has equalized the farm difference, basically. Of course, that will grow as he is going back to base. And he's going to end up okay. This is the Aurelia that was actually banned away from Ryu.
Yeah.
Also, Rosie. 3 levels in his Q opposed to the E maxing, which is what most Karmas would go towards.
That's Rosie.
I know, and it really is a sign of what Rosie is like when it comes to playing support and that he feels the necessity to carry. But he doesn't have the shielding to keep Lost in it, and if they're trying to empower their bottom lane, they're just trying to empower Rosie now instead.
Well, there's another flash out of Bomb, as you can see. The chain had to be avoided. Zahi says, well, mission accomplished. Is Impaired looking for a dive here under the turret. Nice movement seed there for Rosie, but they look for Lost. Teleports are coming in as Omni's going to make his way down. Luna in trouble, but it's a nice exhaust. Not enough, though, as he just gets bursted by the rest of the buttons from the LeBlanc. A lot of summoner spells. Tainted Minds get it.
Yeah, and LeBlanc actually playing that well through the exhaust. Hits all of the spells in the combo to take him out before going back to the initial distort. Really well done from Tainted Minds. The heads-up reactive play.
Zahi, can you please find that pink ward? He's walked over it like 17 times. Just took down the blue buff.
18.
Oh, no.
And counting. Oh, it's a shame we're not on 6.13 because the ward would have had more swag.
Well, it should have more swag now. Every enemy that passes it unseen.
They should have actually made it so that wards with swag actually like...
Are neither of those in the brush? Yeah, neither of them are in the brush. That's really sad.
Scarred.
Oh, super scarred. Well, Tainted Minds looking for this outer turret towards the top side. All of these minions going to be denied away from Ryu as well as Zahi, of course, after Omni used his teleport to get towards the bottom side of the map and save the bottom lane, just knew that he had free reign over this area.
You know what? I've got it. They should have a snapback sideways on the ward, like on the top of it.
And those glasses that have like the lines across them?
Entirely, yeah.
Completely
the Kanye
unnecessary?
West
Yeah.
Entirely in jest of what swag is what it should be.
I like that. Ironic swag. There's Omni. Able to clear out that wave quite nicely. Distorts his way around. Has evened things out completely here in this mid lane as far as farm. And also has that 1-0-1 scoreline. So the LeBlanc in a position of power at the moment. We'll see whether he's going to be able to play out this mid game effectively. Tainted Minds seem to have got their win conditions together as he just throws down a bit of a mimic onto Bomb and he loses half of his health bar, which is pretty sad for the big player.
Yeah, well, LeBlanc's at that point, and of course, Bomb's item build is the real problem here. Goes offensive, doesn't go defensive. There's no Negatron cloak, so the burst from LeBlanc is always going to be greater.
Oh, Zahi waiting for Impaired here. Takes half of his health already as the Chilling Smite comes in. He's looking for a way out, but the Repel's there. Nice knock up into the flash and gets him out. But Tainted Minds just say, well, nice segue into the Infernal Drake. You're going to pull it out of the pit and continue fighting.
Yeah, no Smite able to steal this one away because Impaired has to go. And it was a perfect start towards this Drake. Well done from Impaired to get out.
Yeah.
In the first place, but the snowball continues from Tainted Minds in game number 2. Looking like they aren't going to slow down this time because the gold value is actually there for them.
Well, I'm actually taking another round of damage here from Omni, who gets his R button once again.
And he just got back. Just went back and shopped, came back, and now gets traded out. Needs that magic resistance next time.
Kratos in a lot of control here towards the top side. Gets the reset with his Ravenous Hydra as Ryu trying to fight back. Subjugate's actually down, so big cooldown earned.
Not sure about
for
that
Ryu, as yet. Impaired's trying to make his way in. Decides against it. Omni was moving up, gets pinged out.
Yeah, Praedyth wasting his ultimate a little bit there. I think he had enough sustain to not have to use it. He's now full health, able to parade around the top side of the map, working towards mid. I don't think there's actually anything besides maybe that Rift Herald that they really want to go towards.
Well, Bomb, yeah, the solo out there as Omni fakes out the auto attack. That was very cute. Picks up the kill, doesn't get stunned by the gravity field. That's the 1v1.
Good night's sleep, Bomb.
Yeah.
Just seems to be the sign of what's to come, perhaps, in this game. Of course, this has continuously been the outcome as, yep, that fadeaway auto attack almost looked invisible.
Oh, looked sexy, though. Tell you
Well
that
played
much.
from Omni. Polar opposites between game 1 and 2 for him individually. Tainted Minds actually working around that middle lane. Lost even with the early roam is what set them up for that first kill. It feels like the snowball commenced from there.
And it's good seeing Omni on a champion that he looks very comfortable on. Instead of on Victor duty, just clearing out minion waves. Looks like he has some pizzazz this time around. Now 2-0-1 with a definite CS lead as Omni's going to come in towards the bottom side. Ghostblade was popped, Impaired is down here. They're not going to be able to find too much, but don't lose anything either.
No, I think Tainted Minds could actually do with a recall. They were looking to pressure the dive and Impaired was already there. Ryu with teleport could have actually caused a problem if they committed too heavily, so it makes sense that they wouldn't. Now they can just back away and consolidate their lead, get some bigger items, and grow it further.
Yeah, you can see Lost does complete Berserker's Greaves, also on his way towards that second item, Black Cleaver. And Morellonomicon's done here for Omni. A lot of cooldown reduction.
Yeah, I was expecting a Abyssal Scepter from him given the Null Magic Mantle, but instead he decides to go the offensive route, maximizing that cooldown reduction so that he has the Sorcerer's Shoes and 20% CDR instead of the 10.
Oh, there's the culling onto Lost. Flashes after Frey, gets right under the turret. My god, this damage! Knows exactly how much he can take, tanks up the turret, he's more than fine.
Lost just completely styles on Frey. Really unfortunate for the Ezreal, but there was nothing he could do. Overstays without a Braum nearby. I don't even think Braum was spotted through vision. And just like that, the 2v2's over.
Yeah, and Frey, I mean, to his credit, he's Ezreal, and he did make it behind his turret. Just wasn't enough.
Well, no, when you're by yourself, right, it's never going to be enough. The unfortunate thing for him is there was no right way to play that because he was just too overextended by himself.
Yeah.
The right way to play that was to not be there in the first place. But once again, you have to commend Tainted Minds for playing it well enough to get the kill. Lost showing off his strength as a mechanical player.
Well, there's another Cocoon landing here from Zahi as Bomb is able to offer some assistance. Nice slowdown onto Zahi there. It takes half of his health. But same thing happens to Bomb over the side with the distortion. Tainted Minds successful right here as Lost looking to try and pick up another item.
And it really does feel like that snowball's kicking off here.
Yeah.
They've got the Trundle pressuring now. He's finally got himself the items to the point where he can out-sustain Ryu on the Aurelia. They're now fighting over every small detail, including the Raptors. Angry Raptors.
Hellions just have to work for everything here as Impaired. He'd had enough. That has to flash out. The chains do go off and takes a lot of damage as there's the Chaos Storm from Bomb who gets a nice flank. Omni comes back around, but immediately exhausted. Another Winter's Bite lands, but Hellions just don't have the health bars to try and get anything more done. Nice target selection onto Luna as the teleport's coming in from Praedyth. Can he get the pillar in the right spot? We'll see who he tries to find. Another Gravity Field comes in, just chomps Bomb to death. Luna is going to follow up here as well. He tries to stand behind Impaired, but can't get it done. A double kill for Praedyth, who's just getting bigger and bigger after that first blood, and Hellions now trying to back away, but Tainted Minds in so much control.
Yeah, the confidence with which they are carrying themselves.
Oh my god, Lost just tanks up their turret. They can't decide who's going to get the kill, but Rosie wants to die as Impaired picks up that one up. Not exactly coordinated the best there.
No, Praedyth making sure he dies though with the pillar just to secure it. Of course, he'll be up in time for the Drake as it's about a minute away. And still, the confidence the Tainted Minds are running around Summoner's Rift on feels more like they're parading. Above all else,
styling.
They can afford to make small mistakes like Rosie doing that and tanking it, maybe looking for the kill himself. Kind of what it felt like.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter as much. They genuinely have a gold lead big enough that game one does not look anything like this.
No, most certainly didn't. Ryu now trying to answer here towards the top side, but Praedyth gets back just in time with a fresh buy as well. I mean, look at that bounty. This guy is huge, sitting on 5-0 something, if I remember correctly, but we can't see the scoreboard just yet. Now just wandering over this ward, and you can see Ryu just knows that he can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and it's going to be right on time.
5-0-0.
There you go. 500. Yeah, Infernal Drake's also going to be up now. It'll be the second Infernal Drake if they look towards this. One Tainted Mind should just lock it down. I don't think Hellions can fight for it. But a team that has the inclination towards team fighting, especially even through their draft,
yeah,
I might be seeing them do it.
Well, Zahi's already here. It's down to half health, taking a lot of damage here out of this Tainted Minds roster as Lost almost has that Black Cleaver, and that's going to easily be locked down. Praedyth was there to stop any teleports out of Ryu. Didn't have his, of course. As you can see, Lost now solo down towards this bottom side of the map. Just wants to be a split pusher as Praedyth is coming around. This outer turret looks to be the next target for Tainted Minds.
And let's be blunt, if the game lasts another 6 minutes, there's a third Infernal Drake.
Oh, God.
So we'll see how they play this one out, Tainted Minds. They're a young side, and young sides with leads occasionally disrespect their opponents enough to give them an eye in. Hellions, they actually have a tendency to get back into games surprisingly well.
Well, we actually saw it against Devon. I mean, Devon had a 10,000 gold lead, and Hellions found their way back in, managed to turn things around. Unfortunately, ultimately lost the game. However, they did turn around a lead that probably should have been a shutout.
And all that's left to break is actually this middle lane turret.
Yeah.
It is a Victor, so it's not an easy thing to break, but diving a 0-3 Victor is always possible. LeBlanc excels in situations where you're sieging turrets so that she can either flank or get into that backline one way or another. Praedyth's now giving it to Ryu.
Yeah, looking for the kill here, actually throwing down the Subjugate. This says, no, this is my minion wave.
I feel like Praedyth is disrespect ulting at this point. Just save it, man.
Yeah, probably doesn't necessarily need it, as Tainted Minds make very short work of that turret with help of the Mountain Drake. Q does come down on a Fray, but avoids everything else. And Tainted Minds looking to assert dominance.
Yeah, I'd be shocked to see them look towards Baron instead of top lane.
Oh god, Ryu in trouble as Praedyth doesn't have flash, available to him as Bomb throws down a zoning gravity field. Does work quite nicely. The pillar's going to stop him from re-engaging. Nice cocoon from Zahi. His eye is in on those cocoons. Whoa, that's a flash out of Lost. Picks up the kill on Frey instantly.
Well then, Tainted Minds turning up the tempo. That was a big dive, and they're making Frey's life miserable on this AD carrier position. He's 0-2-1, but those 2 deaths have been horrible. He's been left by himself under turrets to die to a Lucian LeBlanc. And now on more than one occasion, they have stamped their feet down onto him and just sent him back to the grave.
That is terrifying. And at 22.5 minutes here into this game, 2 Infernal Drakes and a Mountain. 3rd Infernal coming up relatively soon, probably about 3 or so minutes. And they're close to 10,000 gold in the lead. It's about 8. Lost has his 2 items, and he was scary before. I don't think he even really needed more items. This guy's doing ridiculous amounts of work.
Everyone could just stop buying items here. It'd be great. And give him a chance.
Oh my goodness. It is looking like it's snowballing relatively out of control, though. You're right, Rusty.
That's funny because it's a full team effort this time around. Praetor struggled early, funnily enough. Almost died. I'm shocked to see that he is 0 death game.
Yeah.
At this point, but Zahi stepped up, looked towards that top side of the map. Only came bottom when it was absolutely necessary. And that's that focus shift. And it feels like this game could have actually gone in multiple directions if those almost kill scenarios were actually kills in the early game. Because Hellions almost found Rosie. They almost died themselves. Ryu almost found Praetor twice. What if he had?
Yeah. And I think a lot of it comes down to Zahi. The fact that he has been playing this Elise a lot better this game than he did in game number 1, to be perfectly frank. A lot of those almost kills were nullified by the fact that cocoons were landing here by this Elise.
Yeah. It's definitely true. Is that going to be a wit's end?
I hope so.
Oh, really?
Well, he does have all of the bits for it.
Yeah.
Hey, well, this is my favorite build.
He's 0-2. That's Snowball.
Yeah, and he's also normally landing against Trundle.
Get a Hex Drinker for LeBlanc instead of going the wit's end. Oh well. You win some, you lose some.
It's also a cute item.
Let's just hope it's not that.
No. Well, Tainted Minds in full vision of Hellions are going to start off this Baron. Ward does eventually fall down, and yeah, Hellions looking to try and contest this. This is where they get back into games, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. So look for this. It is going to be Tainted Minds intelligently pulling off. Lost now looking for bomb. There's the culling. Gets thrown back into the gravity field. Bomb uses his flash. There's Omni going in, though. Doesn't get the kill. Didn't land the chain.
Wins the trade, though. Still full, let's say, half health to Bomb's basically 0.
Yep.
The downside to that, though, is that if he goes back towards the bottom lane and threatens the teleport, Ryu can threaten him. So we'll see how they play this one out, Tainted Minds. They've got him paired.
Yeah, looking for the snare there. Get it. As it's followed up by the cocoon immediately. Nice tunnel comes in. Azahi is going to close the distance with the repel. Lost just wants the Rek'Sai as Praetor is going to come around the side. Luna does all he can with the ultimate, but in the end, it's a double kill for the Lucian. 2
big kills, and again, already having control of this area. Means that the Tainted Minds team can now look immediately towards it and kill Frey on their way through.
Oh god, lands the chain, just bops him on the head. And Omni makes short work of the Ezreal, who is already struggling. 3 dead, easy Baron here for Tainted Minds. And this game is looking like it's working like clockwork for our OCS champion.
The 11,000 gold lead's now about to make it a little bit more. Recall to base, get your big item spikes, and this should actually just be the final push at 25 minutes. Even though the base hasn't been broken for Hellions, it still feels entirely that way.
And Ryu looking for this outer turret, but we'll have to work for it as Omni making his way down. The rest of the team are going to be collapsing as Ryu just says, all right, I'm just going home. I'm done with this.
Actually, I might not get him.
Oh, there it is. Chains don't land as he's looking for Omni. Didn't know that there were 3 people here as he gets himself over the wall with a distortion. Ryu, he's going to have to find a miracle here as the Ionian Fervor is not enough to get him out of that cocoon. And the kill goes to Omni.
I'm not sold on that he was going to get auto cancelled. Recall cancelled there.
Yeah, he cancelled it himself.
Yeah, he stopped it himself. Now gives them the kill. Let's just say that that's how it went. Tainted Minds pick up a 3rd Infernal Drake off the back of
24% stats.
Yeah. That was actually off the back of Ryu just being overextended. It feels like at this point with a Baron buff, 3 Infernals, hope is out the window. It's now desperation time for this team on your blue side.
Yeah, this is a very frightening match. And Tainted Minds easily grab this inner turret. Another inner will fall on the top side of the map with the help of some Baron up minions.
I hope Spawn says shellacking.
Yeah, well, look, I think shellacking is exactly the word that describes this game. As Hellions looking for the Hail Mary. They get the knock-up as True Shot Barrage flies through and hits no one. Zahi now looking for more as Bomb throws down the Chaos Storm. But it's not going to get him anything onto Zahi. Oh, apart from some follow-up damage and the death ray, not quite enough. Meanwhile, Prey's just going to smack this turret to death and make very quick work of it indeed. As Omni now looking for Frey. Zahi going to be able to help out as he baited him in. Void Rush.
Prey just doesn't care about this turret. He's actually walking through it.
Yeah, actually just wandering through. Does have himself that Subjugate as well as Luna taking a lot of damage for it. There's the flash for some reason. There's Lost looking to make his way back in. Bomb does have full health. Can try and get some work done as there are low health bars now on Tainted Minds. They've already taken one inhibitor. We'll see whether they bite off too much than they can chew, but Lost is so huge. Now with the shield as well, looking for Bomb. Doesn't quite get it, but my god, he does a lot of damage.
Yeah, there is an unreasonably large amount of gold in their favor. Tainted Minds now work towards the third inhibitor. I think it's just to grow the biggest lead they possibly can. I don't know if they can even contest this, even with low health bars. Tainted Minds still look way too in control.
It is 16,000 gold now as Hellions do at least get them off their last remaining inhibitor, but turrets are in ruins right now for Tainted Minds. 9-1.
The Trundle is snowballed, and so he's able to sit top lane and push down waves anyway. One thing Trundle excels at is knocking down those structures. It means that the LeBlanc sitting in the same lane as somebody will always be an assassination threat.
Yeah.
And so they have to send someone with magic resistance to deal with him. It's usually Ryu. And that gives Praetor free time fighting whoever they'd like. It's the battle where a 1-3-1 is even possible from Tainted Minds by running the double teleport. Sets them up nicely to just break the entirety of the base at once.
Omni looking for the chain, doesn't find it. There is the culling sort of hitting air at the moment. Nice Winter's Bite onto Lost. Avoids taking too much from that ultimate. Now Tainted Minds just barreling towards this inhibitor, which will fall down very quickly. Gravity Field doesn't find any stuns, and Tainted Minds unopposed when it comes to taking this down. Praetor just putting his face in it. What the hell was that?
That was a LeBlanc QR auto attack for Thunderlords and an instant death for Frey.
Okay, well, he's dead. Praetor throws down the Subjugate as Chaos Storm just being drinked as Praetor dances in the wake of the ultimate. My god, this AoE damage is disgusting. There's now Lost playing with the Hellions members on the turret. Just picks that one up in the fountain onto Bomb. The Nexus is going to fall. And that was one heck of a decisive win for this Tainted Minds team. 30 minutes on the dot. 3 Infernal Drakes, a Mountain Drake. They suffered 1 death, I believe, that game. 1 turret loss. Yeah. That was pretty close to a perfect win there for Tainted Minds. Must be feeling fantastic after that game.
Yeah, pretty much from start to finish. I think, again, the only actual hiccups were seen at the very beginning of the game where laning phase, something that Hellions are definitely capable of doing, could have been the undoing of the Tainted Minds. Didn't go that way. Definitely didn't go that way. 18,000k lead.
That was massive. But we are going to throw it back to the analyst desk to analyze that shellacking.
And you just stole my opening line, so I'm just going to point out that Rusty said 18,000k, which is a lot. So you know what? So that's a lot of gold, and you only have Atlas to blame for that one, mate, so I apologize. But a shellacking nonetheless in 29 minutes, 57 seconds. And the Hellions still searching for that first victory, not able to pick it up here. Tainted Minds come through the winner.
I think they just mega tilted after that first game. I mean, the first game they really, if they were going to win any game, it's an old line, but if they were going to win any game, it was going to be that first one. And I think just after that, they just thought, like, oh, okay, it's all over, guys. Like,
shellacking may have been used more than once, but I think the word truculent also is fitting for what happened that game.
What does truculent mean?
It's like driving a train on someone.
Okay, cool.
Why is it called trainulent?
Like a truck.
It's like driving a truck on someone, apparently. That's like Carbon told me what hench meant the other day as well. I think he tweeted that one out to Rusty. However, I saw that your eyes did light up over one particular play in this game, Carbon. So we're going to bring it up on the screen for you. And I just want you to take us through this one, because what exactly is happening at this Raptor pit?
I just want a moment to explain this before we roll it.
All right.
I touched on this before the game. Oh, we're going to roll anyway.
Nah, we're good.
Okay, there we go. Awesome. Okay, so I touched on this before the game, and that is that with these games, sometimes sometimes what happens is, despite your best macro intentions, there's just something on the map that you just can't give up. And in this case, it was the chicken. Elliot is impaired, is staring at this chicken. He has no business being here. He knows they're behind. It's just a Wraith camp. It's not that big a deal. He knows that the guy has teammates, and yet he wants the chicken. He wants it so bad. It's the tastiest KFC he's ever seen in his life. We can roll it now, and what ends up happening is just an absolute disaster. I mean, there's a 5-man team fight. TP over a raptor camp. The big chicken. The small chickens weren't even alive anymore. It was only the big chicken.
And they keep re-engaging. There's a TP that you're talking about. I mean, like, neither team wanted to give this one up.
I mean, at this point, what are they fighting for? Why? What's happening? Like, every summoner in the game just got blown over the chicken. I mean, what are you supposed to do when you're playing against that?
But to be fair, the red buff got involved on the back half of that as well. And I think this is also the one time that the Hellions actually pick up a kill.
Yeah, it certainly is. I mean, Rosie gets a little bit over.
Let's have a look at how it happens.
He tanks up the turret. He does a good support.
Just peel it in.
So unfortunately, we just thought we would show it to you because it kind of proved our point that every now and again, OPL teams will just fight.
Sometimes you just gotta go.
I loved how it was also the like not just the fact that they'll just fight, but we're like they fight over this random ramp.
Yeah.
And that was it. That's the ramp.
Yeah, so that is the ramp that we were talking about. And, you know, that is going to be a Tainted Mind 2 victory. So after the break, guys, we are going to come back with some more OPL action. But for now, we're going to go into a 3.5-minute break. When we come back, it'll be the Chiefs versus Abyss eSports.